In the vast cosmic wheel of the Zodiac, the sign of Cancer rises like the moon over calm waters, radiating a soft but unyielding glow of emotional truth and unwavering loyalty. Ruled by the moon, this sign moves in rhythms that echo the tides of devotion, the phases of trust, and the silent strength of commitment. To speak of Cancer's loyalty is to speak of something sacred, ancient, and deeply woven into the fabric of their being. It is not simply a choice for them. It is instinct, reflex, a gravitational pull toward those they hold dear. Loyalty for Cancer is a pact written in the heart and sealed in the soul. It is not a performance, not an obligation. It is an oath whispered in the dark when no one is watching, a promise that endures not because it must, but because it is true. Even the stars could fall from the sky, and a Cancer would remain, steady, present, and unflinching, for those they love. They do not give their loyalty lightly. It is not scattered like stardust upon every traveler of their world. It is earned, and once earned, it is a fortress. Cancer wraps their bonds in emotional armor, shielded by their intuitive understanding of others, and fortified by their profound empathy. Their loyalty is an ocean, deep, vast, and filled with unspoken currents of memory and emotion. It is not loud. It is not theatrical. It is quiet strength. It is showing up when it matters most. It is defending a friend behind closed doors. It is remembering the small things, the details that others forget, and honoring them as sacred truths. With friends, Cancer is the guardian of memories, the one who keeps birthdays remembered, anniversaries honored, and old jokes alive like legends from a shared mythology. They are the ones who bring soup when you are sick, who show up unasked when you are hurting, who offer their silence when words are too much. They hold space. They make you feel seen not for who you try to be, but for who you truly are. And once you are inside their world, you are there for life, unless you betray their trust, which is the rarest of wounds for them and the hardest to heal. Their loyalty does not end with intimacy. Even with acquaintances and distant companions, when Cancer gives their word, it becomes law. A promise from them is not a casual utterance. It is a contract written in lunar ink, signed by the tides of their heart. If they say they will do something, they will do it, often going beyond the call to ensure it is done with care and meaning. This is not to impress. It is not to seek validation. It is because they understand that the value of a word lies in its fulfillment. To cross paths with a Cancer in this life is to encounter a soul who remembers the old codes, the ancient ways of loyalty that echo through the bones like ancestral drums. Their sense of duty to those they care for is fierce and noble. They will defend the reputation of a friend when they are not in the room. They will carry the burdens of others without complaint. They will forgive, and they will endure, long after others have fled. Cancer's loyalty is not only emotional, it is intuitive. They sense when something is wrong. They anticipate needs before they are spoken. They stay up through the storm, watching the windows of your world, making sure that the light stays on inside. And all of this they do with a quiet dignity that asks for nothing in return but truth. Even in conflict, their loyalty shines. They may retreat into their shell, needing space to feel and process, but they do not vanish. They do not abandon. They return when the emotional seas have calmed, not to erase what was, but to rebuild with understanding. Their forgiveness is slow but real. Their bond, once frayed, can be rewoven, not with haste, but with hands that know the sacred value of time. In an age that often celebrates speed and disposability, Cancer stands as a monument to devotion. They are the guardians of emotional legacy, the silent warriors of the heart. They remind us that true loyalty is not measured in dramatic declarations, but in the constancy of presence, in the echo of footsteps that follow you when the crowd has gone, in the steady heartbeat beside you when the world feels cold. This is the loyalty of Cancer, moonstruck, ancient, invincible, a light that does not flicker, a harbor that does not move, a promise that lives, not in words, but in the unshakable rhythm of the soul. There is a sacred depth to the loyalty of Cancer that often escapes those who only skim the surface. Beneath the gentleness, beneath the softness of their emotional waters, lies a warrior spirit forged in the crucible of care. Cancer is not only the nurturer, the guardian of emotional sanctuaries. They are also the silent sentinels of what is right, the defenders of the sacred bonds that connect us. Their loyalty is not passive. It is active, protective, and, when necessary, fierce. From an astrological perspective, the moon's rulership bestows upon Cancer a cyclical rhythm, a constant ebb and flow of emotional energy that reflects not instability, but divine attunement. They move with the pulse of human feeling. They sense the invisible tides of others' emotional landscapes, and in this gift lies one of their greatest strengths. They are not loyal only when it is easy or convenient. They are loyal through seasons, through storms, through the inner winters of those they love. They know how to endure silence. They know how to sit with pain that is not their own. And they never flee from the gravity of emotional truth. What is rarely spoken about is the quiet way in which Cancer remembers. Their loyalty is laced with memory. They do not forget the kindnesses offered in fleeting moments, the words that soothed their heart when it was raw. They store these moments like treasures, bringing them out in times of need, not just for themselves, but for others. When the world forgets what someone has done, Cancer remembers. When someone doubts their worth, Cancer recalls the moments of grace that others have overlooked and reflects them back with compassion and clarity. This memory is not sentimental, it is ancestral. It is the heartbeat of the moon carried through generations of soul wisdom. Cancer is a builder of inner homes. Their loyalty creates foundations that others can rest upon. They do not need grand gestures. Their acts of devotion may seem small to the untrained eye, but each one is a stone laid in a cathedral of care. They construct sanctuaries within themselves where others can find peace. In a world that often demands performance and speed, Cancer invites stillness and real presence. They teach that loyalty is not a matter of convenience, but of character. They are capable of navigating complexity with grace. Cancer understands that people are not always at their best, and their loyalty does not wither in the face of human imperfection. They hold space for transformation. They do not discard those who falter. Instead, they reach out, offering a steadying hand. Their emotional courage allows them to witness others in their most vulnerable states and not turn away. In this, their loyalty becomes more than attachment. It becomes a mirror of love that uplifts and heals. Their protective instincts are unmatched. While their sensitivity is often mistaken for fragility, it is, in truth, a sharpened sword hidden beneath velvet. Cross someone they love, and Cancer becomes a force of elemental power. They do not attack out of ego, they defend out of love. They rise like the tide, silent and unstoppable, washing away dishonor and standing firm in their integrity. This loyalty is not blind, it is discerning. They do not follow without question. But once they have chosen someone, they stand beside them with the unshakable resolve of a soul aligned with destiny. Even in solitude, Cancer's loyalty remains unshaken. Time and distance do not corrode the bonds they hold. People may drift away, but in Cancer's heart, the connection lives on. They may check in after years, remembering not just birthdays, but the stories behind them. They may keep photographs, notes, symbols of shared journeys that others have forgotten. Their loyalty is not measured in time, it is measured in depth. They do not need constant contact to maintain connection. Their inner world is a shrine where the past is honored and the present is nourished. This loyalty extends even to causes, communities, and principles. When Cancer believes in something, they carry it within them like a sacred duty. They do not need the spotlight. They do not seek recognition. They simply do the work, quietly, consistently, with a heart full of conviction. Their loyalty to ideals is often rooted in a profound emotional understanding of justice, kindness, and human dignity. They do not preach, they embody. They live their truth, and in doing so, they become a living testament to the power of devotion. There is also a mythic quality to Cancer's emotional armor. Though they may appear vulnerable, their shell is forged by experience, by years of giving and healing and learning who is worthy of entry. That shell is not to shut others out. It is to protect the sanctity of what they carry inside. Their loyalty is guarded not out of fear, but out of reverence for its power. Those who are welcomed into the heart of a Cancer are not simply receiving affection. They are being granted access to a realm of timeless love and sacred commitment. Cancer is the ancient soul of the Zodiac, the keeper of ancestral memory and the guardian of emotional continuity. They are the ones who light candles for those who have passed, who tell the stories of their elders, who remember the lineage of love that others let fade. Their loyalty is not just personal, it is cosmic. It is the moon speaking through them, reminding the world that what matters most is not transient. It is not transactional. It is not loud. It is the quiet force of hearts that choose, again and again, to remain present, to honor the past, to protect the vulnerable, and to love with the full depth of the ocean. In every act of loyalty, Cancer reclaims the sacred in human connection. They do not follow trends. They follow the pull of the soul. And in a world that often forgets the weight of promises and the beauty of emotional roots, Cancer stands as a timeless reminder that true loyalty is not about being seen. It is about never looking away. There is a celestial stillness in Cancer's loyalty that is often overshadowed by the emotional waves they are known to ride. But at the very core of their essence lies not volatility, but constancy, an unwavering alignment to the inner compass that governs their heart. This sign, cardinal in modality and driven by the lunar tides, is not static. It initiates, it leads, but it does so from a place of emotional power. Cancer does not wait to be asked to be loyal. They arrive early, prepared to give everything before the world even knows it needs them. Their loyalty is intricately tied to their sense of home. But home, for Cancer, is not merely a structure or a physical place. It is a feeling, a resonance, a soul recognition. Wherever they go, they seek to create this atmosphere, and once it is established, they will protect it with everything they have. Their loyalty is the mortar that binds the walls of this sacred inner dwelling. Whether it is with a person, a cause, or a dream, once it becomes home to them, it is etched into the architecture of their soul. Cancer's element is water, and water, while gentle in appearance, holds a profound strength. Carves through mountains. It fills the deepest trenches of the earth. It adapts to every container yet loses nothing of its essence. This is the secret of Cancer's loyalty. It is not fixed to a singular form. It moves, it shifts, it evolves with the circumstances, but it does not disappear. It is the friend who remains silent when silence is needed. The presence that does not rush to fix or explain, but simply stays. It is the one who carries your burdens without needing you to ask. There is a psychic dimension to this loyalty as well. Cancer's intuitive nature makes them deeply attuned to the emotional undercurrents of those around them. They often sense what others need before words are spoken. Their loyalty transcends logic or calculation. It is rooted in feeling, in resonance, in the sacred art of knowing. This knowing guides them to be at the right place at the right time for those they love. They are protectors of the unseen, witnesses to the truths that go unspoken, and keepers of the emotional integrity of their chosen bonds. What is rarely spoken about is the quiet suffering that often accompanies such profound loyalty. Cancer feels everything. When others break promises or walk away, Cancer carries the echo of those moments for far longer than most. They do not forget easily, not because they are vengeful, but because their emotional memory is vast. And yet, they continue to choose loyalty. They continue to build, to protect, to believe. In this choice lies their epic heroism. Their resilience is forged not in hardness, but in softness that has endured the storms of life without closing itself off to love. Their loyalty also extends to the realm of legacy. Cancer is deeply connected to ancestry, to lineage, to the unseen threads that connect generations. They are often the family historian, the storyteller, the one who keeps traditions alive. Their loyalty is not confined to the present. It stretches backward in time, honoring those who came before, and forward into the future, ensuring that those who follow will have something sacred to inherit. They are timekeepers of love. Their loyalty is a bridge across eras. In relationships of all kinds, Cancer shows a rare kind of faithfulness. They do not offer loyalty based on conditions. They offer it from a place of sacred choice. Even when they have been wounded, Even when they have learned to be cautious, once their heart is engaged, it is engaged completely. This full-hearted loyalty becomes a sanctuary for others, a space where vulnerability is met not with judgment, but with compassion. It is in this space that people often experience true safety for the first time. Cancer also carries the power of emotional leadership. While often underestimated, their loyalty is a quiet command that brings order to emotional chaos. When others falter, they remain. When conflict arises, they seek not domination, but harmony. Their loyalty teaches by example. They do not need to demand loyalty in return. They embody it so thoroughly that it awakens it in others. This leadership is lunar in nature, subtle, cyclical, reflective, but it is no less commanding. It reshapes the emotional landscapes of those who are blessed to know them. There is also a mystical devotion in the way Cancer upholds their commitments. Whether it is a promise made to a friend, a duty to a family member, or a silent vow to their inner truth, Cancer follows through. Not always loudly, not always publicly, but always completely. Their loyalty is an invisible scaffolding that holds the lives of others together. It is the kind of force that allows people to rebuild when everything has fallen apart. It is not always thanked. It is not always seen, but it is always there, anchoring the unseen. This sign carries within it the magic of emotional alchemy. They take the raw, the wounded, the broken, and they love it into something whole again. Their loyalty is not transactional, it is transformational. To be loved by a Cancer is to be reminded of who you are when you forget. To be forgiven when you feel unworthy. To be defended when you can no longer speak for yourself. Their love is not just affection, it is action. It is memory. It is presence. It is protection. Cancer's loyalty is a sacred fire that burns in the hearth of humanity. It is the torch passed from heart to heart, the moonlit path that never vanishes, even when the world turns dark. It is a devotion so powerful that it reshapes destiny, not through force, but through faith. It is not the loudest voice. It is not the one that boasts, but it is the one that remains, long after the echoes have faded, long after the crowd has gone, standing quietly, with a light in its hands, saying, "I am still here. I have not forgotten. I will not leave." Cancer's loyalty, when viewed through the full spectrum of its astrological inheritance, reveals dimensions far beyond personal attachment. It is a loyalty that holds an elemental connection to the collective emotional body of humanity. This is the sign that feels not only for individuals, but for entire communities, nations, and lineages. There is a depth of empathy within Cancer that borders on the archetypal, the mother, the nurturer, the eternal protector of the tribe. Their loyalty is an instinctive tether to the well-being of the whole, a soul-deep vow to safeguard the emotional survival of the human spirit. In the Zodiac, Cancer is the first water sign, and with that comes an origin point of emotional awareness. They are the ones who first remember how to feel, how to care, how to attach meaning to relationship and belonging. Their loyalty is not only emotional, it is existential. It affirms life, connection, and continuity. Says, "You matter. You are not alone. I will hold this bond even when you cannot." This sacred stewardship of love gives Cancer the quiet authority of the priestess, the elder, the guardian who understands that emotional fidelity is the true architecture of trust in a fractured world. Cancer's connection to the moon, ever-changing in phase but never in presence, teaches them how to remain faithful even as life transforms. They do not expect permanence in external circumstances. They do not demand stillness from others. But their loyalty is not contingent upon things staying the same. It is flexible, lunar, able to shift while never ceasing to shine. Even when someone evolves, even when relationships change form, Cancer can honor what once was while gracefully supporting what now is. This ability to love through change is one of the most underappreciated aspects of their loyalty. It is not rigid, but adaptive. Not idealistic, but resilient. Their loyalty is often the glue that holds families together. They are the ones who reach out after silence, who mediate without taking sides, who remember the emotional truths that others try to bury. They may take on the emotional labor without recognition, quietly bearing the weight of generational pain so others can heal. This kind of loyalty is heroic in its scope. It is the unspoken labor of love that spans lifetimes. It is karmic in nature, binding them to sacred duties of emotional preservation that others may not even perceive. In this way, Cancer becomes a vessel for ancestral healing, loyal not only to the living but to the stories and wounds of those who came before. There is a holy patience in their loyalty. When others move on quickly, Cancer stays. When others grow weary of trying, Cancer digs deeper. This is not stagnation. It is the deep wisdom of emotional time. They understand that healing takes longer than expected, that trust is built over seasons, that love must be earned again and again through consistency and compassion. They do not rush the process. They stand guard at the emotional threshold, willing to wait until the heart is ready to open again. Their patience is not passive. It is an act of fierce devotion. They do not just remember people, they remember dreams, values, and intentions. When someone falters or forgets who they are, Cancer can hold the memory of their best self like a sacred flame. They mirror not just the surface, but the soul. In times of doubt or despair, Cancer's loyalty serves as a reminder of one's original purpose. They believe in you even when you do not. Their faith is restorative. It lifts others from the depths, not with noise, but with presence. The kind of presence that asks nothing and offers everything. In their silence lies another dimension of loyalty. Cancer often does not speak of what they carry. They do not boast about the ways they care. They simply do it over and over without reward or recognition. Their loyalty is not performative. It is a sacred duty executed in the privacy of the heart. They may suffer in silence, absorbing the emotional weight of others, transmuting it in solitude, offering only healing and calm in return. This unseen labor is one of the most profound expressions of love the Zodiac has to offer. Cancer's loyalty is devotional. It is spiritual service disguised as emotional constancy. They are also loyal to the unspoken, the mysterious, the symbolic. Their intuitive minds connect dots others miss. They pick up on dreams, glances, gestures, and hold these fragments like relics. They are not just loyal to people, they are loyal to meaning, to nuance, to energy, to the felt sense of truth that lives beneath words. This gives them a kind of psychic fidelity to the souls they connect with. Even when words fail or time separates, their inner connection persists. They may think of someone they haven't spoken to in years and send a prayer, a silent blessing. This is loyalty that transcends the material realm. Even when their loyalty is broken by betrayal, it does not collapse, it mourns. Cancer may withdraw, may become guarded, but even in heartbreak they hold onto what was true. They honor the beauty of what was. They may not forget the pain, but they do not erase the love. Their emotional memory holds both joy and sorrow as sacred. In this way, their loyalty survives even endings. They may close the chapter, but the story remains within them, cherished and kept safe. In the larger tapestry of the Zodiac, Cancer is not just the caretaker of emotions. They are the soul's lighthouse, ensuring no one is lost in the dark. Their loyalty lights the path home, not just to others but to oneself. It is a lunar vow carved into the soul, a gravitational promise that no matter how far one drifts, there is always a harbor waiting, lit by unwavering devotion and timeless care. To be witnessed, protected, and remembered by a Cancer is to be marked by something eternal. Their loyalty is not just a gift. It is a sacred force, a divine current flowing through the emotional fabric of life itself. In a world of fleeting attention and shifting allegiances, Cancer holds steady as the moon above the tides, whispering the oldest promise: I will not leave. I will not forget. I will hold you, even in your silence, even in your absence, even in your return. There is a sacred, almost mythic dimension to the loyalty of Cancer that touches realms both spiritual and elemental. This loyalty does not simply reside in the realm of human emotion. It is woven into the cosmic design of existence itself, a divine contract signed under the light of the moon. Cancer does not choose loyalty like an option. They are loyalty incarnated in human form. Their emotional gravity pulls others into a space of memory, nurturing, and eternal remembrance, where nothing meaningful is ever truly lost. Often overlooked is the way Cancer's loyalty acts as a stabilizing force in times of great collective transition. In moments of societal collapse, upheaval, or deep uncertainty, Cancer emerges as the quiet pillar of safety and emotional continuity. They carry within them the codes of soul preservation, the instinct to wrap the vulnerable in protection, to gather what can still be saved, to rebuild emotional shelters from the ashes of chaos. In a world that forgets itself too easily, Cancer remembers not only the people, but the values, the heart, and the ancient ways of being that keep us human. They are guardians of emotional legacy, protectors of collective compassion. Their loyalty is not limited by geography, proximity, or time, can span continents, lifetimes, and soul cycles. Cancer may carry love and allegiance for those they have not seen in decades, or even those they have never met in the physical realm. Their hearts are not bound by linear logic. They are ruled by intuitive recognition, karmic familiarity, and sacred resonance. They may feel called to protect a stranger, to fight for a cause that has no direct reward, or to remain true to a vision they alone can perceive. This is not idealism. It is emotional sovereignty, the unshakable authority of a soul that answers not to trends, but to truth. From a mythopoetic lens, Cancer can be seen as the timeless archetype of the divine keeper, the silent watcher at the threshold of dreams, the one who waits at the gates while others venture forth. Their loyalty takes on the quality of sacred patience, not a waiting born of weakness, but of sacred guardianship. They are the ones who keep the light burning in the window, who hold the memory of home when the world turns cold. And when the journeyer returns, battered by time and trial, it is Cancer's loyal heart that embraces without judgment, saying, "You are still mine. You are still loved." There is an unsung nobility in the way Cancer serves what is unseen. While other signs may be recognized for acts of leadership or innovation, Cancer's loyalty often goes unacknowledged. Yet it is the quiet foundation upon which others rise. They tend to the spiritual infrastructure of life, the phone call that saves someone from despair, the meal cooked with intention, the ritual remembered when others forget. These small, sacred acts carry the weight of worlds. They are not gestures. They are spells of devotion, cast silently, faithfully, day after day. Their loyalty is woven into the very moments where hope is born again. Cancer's alignment with the fourth house of the Zodiac deepens their connection to the inner world, not just the physical home, but the soul's resting place. Their loyalty extends to the unseen architecture of belonging. They are fiercely protective of what feels sacred, and will often defend others' right to safety, emotion, and healing as if it were their own. Their devotion does not require explanation. It does not ask to be earned. It simply is. It emerges from the wellspring of their being, guided by the inner tides of the moon, responding not to what is said, but to what is felt. There is also a quiet courage in their loyalty that resists glamour but exudes raw, sacred power. They do not abandon others in their darkest hour. They do not recoil from wounds. In fact, they often move closer to pain, not to fix, but to hold space for it to breathe. They cradle the shadow side of love with the same tenderness they give to its light. This is the alchemical power of the Cancer heart, to transform suffering into strength through presence alone. Their loyalty becomes a vessel through which others may return to themselves, rediscover their wholeness, and rise again. The moon, ever-changing yet cyclically constant, teaches Cancer how to remain through phases. This gives them an unparalleled capacity to understand emotional nuance, to see the soul beyond the surface, and to remain loyal not just to what someone is in a moment, but to who they are becoming. Their faith is prophetic. They can love the parts of someone that have not yet awakened, and wait without pressure for that blossoming. In doing so, their loyalty becomes a holy invitation to become, to evolve, to rise without fear of abandonment. Cancer's loyalty also lives in their dreams. Often gifted with psychic sensitivity, they carry spiritual connections into the dream time. They may commune with ancestors, receive messages from those they love, or carry out sacred tasks of protection on the astral plane. Their loyalty continues even while they sleep, Their soul remains in service to love and care, tending to the energetic threads that link hearts across dimensions. This astral devotion is rarely discussed, yet it is one of the most profound gifts of the Cancerian soul. Even when others deem a bond broken, Cancer often maintains a spiritual link that remains untouched by anger or finality. They may honor what once was with sacred remembrance, sending love from afar even after closure has been declared. They do not erase the emotional maps of their life. They archive them, honor them, keep them alive in the soul's memory. To Cancer, every connection matters. Every promise carries weight. Every shared moment holds the light of eternity. And even when they must move on, they do so with reverence, never discarding the depth they once touched. In the astrological symphony, Cancer sings the lullaby of loyalty, the melody that says you are loved, remembered, and held, even in your absence. Their loyalty is not loud, but it echoes across time. It does not seek applause, but it builds the invisible bridges upon which the world walks. In them lives the sacred reminder that love is not a transaction, but a timeless devotion. And through their presence, humanity remembers that there is still something eternal, something holy, something unbreakable in the way a heart can stay true. The loyalty of Cancer, often misunderstood as mere sentimentality, is in truth a monumental force, an ancient and mystical contract between soul and cosmos. It is the echo of the first heartbeat, the memory of when spirit first chose incarnation, and with it, the sacred duty to protect, to nurture, to remain. There is a primeval nobility in this unwavering devotion, for Cancer does not just stand by others. They belong to them in a way that defies logic and transcends the superficial nature of modern connection. This is a loyalty not shaped by convenience or reward but by essence. Cancer gives of themselves not to be remembered, but because to do otherwise would betray their own nature. This loyalty radiates beyond people and into places, into dreams, into ideas yet to be born. Cancer is ruled not only by feeling but by memory, and their memory is not linear, it is cellular, ancestral, and cosmic. They remember how it felt to be safe, to be loved without condition, to be held by something eternal. And so, in a world constantly chasing the new, the loud, and the fleeting, Cancer holds fast to what is real. They carry within them the emotional DNA of the world, encoding it into their everyday actions, words, and silences. Their loyalty becomes a living archive of the sacred truths that modern life tries to forget. Often their devotion is invisible, like the roots of a mighty tree. It may not be seen, but it is what allows everything above to stand. Cancer's love is not performance, it is infrastructure. While others seek legacy through action, Cancer builds it through care. They offer sanctuary when there is nowhere else to turn. Their home becomes a temple, their embrace a return to source. They are not merely companions through life. They are the keepers of emotional gravity, the ones who tether those they love to the earth when chaos seeks to sever all ties. This grounding is not passive. It is an act of rebellion against apathy, a declaration that tenderness is power, that devotion is divine. They do not forget those who have fallen. The loyalty of Cancer crosses veils. They commune with the lost, the departed, the unseen. Their hearts carry altars for those who can no longer speak, and their loyalty becomes a channel through which legacy flows. They pray without needing to be asked. They mourn in silence for others. They speak the names of the forgotten so that memory itself is not lost to the winds of time. There is something monastic in the way they love, something ritualistic in the way they return again and again to the heart, no matter how often it breaks. Each crack becomes a cathedral, housing a new layer of compassion. Their loyalty does not demand perfection. In fact, they are most loyal when things are hardest. When others retreat, Cancer leans in. When tempers flare, they offer grace. When failures mount, they hold the flicker of hope with sacred hands. This is not martyrdom, it is soul stewardship. They know that love is not a straight line but a spiral, and that people fall and rise 1,000 times on the path to their own becoming. Cancer's loyalty offers the one thing most cannot, the safety to fall apart and still be held. They are also loyal to rhythm, to cycles, to the hidden harmonies of life. Governed by the moon, They understand that everything moves in phases, that loyalty must be recommitted to with each turning. Their constancy is not rigidity. It is attunement. They know when to give space and when to draw close. They understand when to speak and when to remain silent. Their loyalty is wise. It does not seek to control. It seeks to witness, to understand, to honor. There is a grace in this, a quiet nobility that elevates their love from instinct to art. They carry a fierce intuition that allows them to detect emotional truths long before they are spoken. And when they feel the authentic pulse of another's heart, they lock in. It is not a decision. It is an energetic vow. From that moment, they carry part of that person within themselves. They dream of them. They worry for them. They heal for them. This psychic loyalty defies distance. Cancer does not need to be in someone's life to love them. Their devotion exists in a liminal space, beyond contact or comprehension. It is the kind of love that lights candles for someone they haven't seen in years. The kind that remembers someone's favorite food decades later. The kind that knows when a soul is hurting, even through silence. Even when they are misunderstood or taken for granted, their loyalty does not dissolve. It may withdraw for protection, but it does not turn to hate. Cancer rarely burns bridges. They build them even when they know others may never cross again. They keep the way open. They hold the memory of what once was as a prayer for what might be again. And in this way, they teach the world that loyalty is not about possession. It is about presence. It is about remembering when others forget, staying when others flee, and believing when others doubt. They are also loyal to their intuition, which serves as a divine compass. Even when the world's logic tells them to give up, to harden, to walk away, they return to that inner knowing, the feeling that love still lives somewhere beneath the surface. And so they endure. They stay true to their knowing, even if no one else sees what they see. Their loyalty becomes prophecy. Their faith becomes the force that brings love back from the dead. In the grand astrological order, Cancer is not just a sign. They are a sanctuary, a keeper of sacred continuity, a vessel for divine compassion. Their loyalty is not weakness, it is cosmic strength. It is the promise carved into the soul long before this life began, that even in a world that forgets, there will be those who remember. And among them, Cancer stands, the eternal guardian of what truly matters, the flame that never dies. There is a dimension of Cancer's loyalty that extends into the fabric of time itself. They are not only guardians of people and memories, but protectors of sacred timing. Ruled by the moon, they move in harmony with the tides of fate, sensing when to act and when to wait, when to speak and when silence becomes a prayer. This attunement allows their loyalty to become something beyond emotional consistency. It becomes alignment with divine orchestration. They are not driven by impulse, but by an internal rhythm connected to something far older than society, older even than human thought. Their loyalty is not reactive. It is ancestral, inherited from the great matriarchs and soul keepers of the ancient world, encoded into the bloodline of compassion. There are moments when the Cancerian heart is tested not by betrayal, but by the burden of being the last one holding on. To remain loyal when all signs point toward abandonment, to continue nurturing when reciprocity is nowhere in sight, is not delusion. It is sacred fortitude. Cancer does not always remain because it is easy. They remain because their soul knows the value of constancy in a world addicted to escape. Their strength lies not in avoiding pain but in walking through it with dignity, refusing to allow their heart to harden. They are warriors of tenderness, armed not with armor, but with unwavering presence. And in doing so, they remind others that to feel deeply is not to be weak. It is to be profoundly alive. This emotional allegiance also finds its expression in the realm of art, of expression, of healing. Many Cancers become vessels for emotional truth through creativity, painting the unspoken, singing the unshed tears, writing what others cannot bear to say. Their loyalty becomes a force that births beauty from sorrow, meaning from silence. Their creations are not meant to dazzle, they are meant to heal. Every word, every note, every stroke is an offering to the collective heart, a reminder that no emotion is ever too much to hold. In their art, they give voice to the forgotten, shelter to the overwhelmed, and light to the wandering soul. Their loyalty can extend into nature, the earth, the elements. Cancer is often quietly aligned with the pulse of life in its purest forms. They may feel an inexplicable bond with rivers, forests, oceans, places that, like them, hold and carry without demanding thanks. They are the souls who care for animals, who plant gardens not only for food but for beauty, who feel the pain of the planet as if it were their own skin. This loyalty to the living world is not always spoken of, yet it pulses strongly in their being. In a time when the earth is crying out, the Cancerian spirit answers not with noise but with gentle restoration, returning to the soil with reverence, to the waters with prayer. There is a mystical edge to Cancer's loyalty that blurs the line between reality and spirit. Their connection to the moon opens portals to the intuitive realms, allowing them to love with a clairvoyant clarity that transcends the five senses. They can dream someone's pain before it is spoken, sense the fracture in a bond before words acknowledge it. Their loyalty is not only emotional, it is psychic. They are empaths in the truest sense, their devotion expanding beyond physical contact and touching the soul directly. In this way, they become soul healers, their presence alone a balm to those unraveling. Even in leadership, which is often overlooked in discussions of Cancer, their loyalty becomes their defining power. They do not lead through force or ambition, but through care, through a deep sense of moral responsibility to those they guide. A Cancer in a position of power does not forget the people they serve. They lead like nurturers, not rulers, always ensuring that the emotional integrity of the collective is upheld. Their loyalty becomes a light in systems too often built on detachment and hierarchy. They model a form of strength that embraces softness, and a form of leadership that prioritizes belonging over dominance. Their loyalty can take the form of emotional alchemy, transforming their own pain into wisdom so that others do not have to suffer the same way. Many Cancers carry emotional wounds not just from this lifetime but from past ones, karmic echoes that become the foundation of their compassion. They do not see pain as shameful but as sacred material from which to create understanding. And so, they stay loyal even to their own shadow, refusing to exile the parts of themselves that have been hurt. This inner loyalty becomes the source of their healing power, allowing them to offer space for others to integrate their own wounds. Even their solitude is an act of loyalty. When Cancer withdraws, it is often not to escape, but to recharge their emotional reserves so they may continue to show up for others with fullness. Their moments of silence are not abandonment but sacred tending of the inner flame. They know that to give without replenishing is to eventually offer a hollow version of love. And so, their loyalty to others is balanced with loyalty to self, a spiritual maturity that is forged through lifetimes of emotional service. They are also loyal to ideals, to hopes, to futures not yet formed. Even when everyone else gives up on a dream, Cancer may hold it like a pearl in their heart, keeping it alive through faith alone. They are the keepers of possibilities, the ones who plant seeds under moonlight knowing they may not see them bloom but that someone will. Their loyalty becomes a bridge to the future, built not through plans or declarations but through emotional resilience and quiet belief. In this, they are the dreamers who never stop believing that love can return, that goodness can prevail, that healing can be whole. Cancer is the emotional backbone of humanity, the unshaken flame that flickers through storm and silence, lighting the way home again and again. Their loyalty is not of this world. It is of the soul, of the cosmos, of the ancient heart that first chose to love despite the risk. And through them, we remember that loyalty is not just a virtue. It is a way of being, a sacred promise, a spiritual legacy carried forward not in noise, but in grace.